He's funny. He's optimistic. He's lighthearted. But he works hard. You know, he takes it seriously. His craft, and he's watching what the others are doing, and you know, doing it his own way, in which only he can. So, you know, looking forward to see him, you know, in these preseason games, and you know, how he you know, manages the offense. But you know, I think he looks good. But all the guys look good. I mean, I think he looks a lot more comfortable, you know, than the first time he suited up. And I think they've really rallied around him, and seeing that he can lead this team and do well.
Advice, he's had a ton of success his entire life. You know, he's the reason he's here is he knows how to get here. So you know, I'm trying to find my way, be the best I can, and the same with all those guys over there on that side. They've all been great players. There's a reason they're all playing NFL football. So I believe everyone has their own path. Everyone has their journey. So I'm rooting for all those guys.
How weird is it that you're now being asked as the...
What if I told you that a fifth-round quarterback just silenced an entire stadium of 70,000 doubters with one throw? What if I told you that same quarterback turned the most dysfunctional franchise in the NFL into championship contenders in just one night? You won't believe what Shedeur Sanders did to the Carolina Panthers, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why Cleveland fans are calling this the most important game in franchise history. I've been covering the NFL for years, and I've never seen a rookie performance quite like this. Stick around, because what happened in the fourth quarter will give you chills. For those tracking Cleveland's quarterback journey since draft night controversy, tonight validates everything. The fifth-round selection everyone questioned. The ownership mandate everyone criticized. The coaching staff resistance everyone documented. None of it matters anymore, because Sanders just silenced every doubter simultaneously with a dominant 30-10 victory over Carolina. But this wasn't just about the final score. This was about watching a 22-year-old walk into the most pressure-packed situation in professional sports and perform like a 10-year veteran. We're going to break down exactly how Sanders dismantled one of the league's most respected defenses, why his teammates are already calling him a franchise cornerstone, and what this means for the future of Cleveland football. I'll show you the specific plays that had defensive coordinators scratching their heads, the locker room moments that prove this team has found their leader, and why national analysts are already comparing Sanders to elite quarterbacks. This is the story of how one game changed everything for a franchise that's been searching for answers for over 2 decades. Let's dissect the opening drive, because everything that happened tonight originated from those first 3 plays. This wasn't just good quarterback play. This was a masterclass in reading defenses, making adjustments, and executing under pressure that most rookies never achieve. First play from scrimmage. Play action bootleg. The Panthers defense bit completely on the fake handoff, exactly what Sanders anticipated during film study. He rolls right, surveys the field with the calmness of a seasoned veteran, and delivers a strike to an intermediate crossing route for 15 yards. The crowd erupts, but Sanders? He's already jogging back to the huddle, focused on the next play. Second play, quick slant exploiting aggressive cornerback alignment for 8 yards. Simple execution, but watch Sanders' eyes on the film. He's not just throwing to his receiver, he's reading the safety's positioning, calculating the linebacker's depth, processing information that typically takes rookies months to master. But here's where the magic truly manifests. Third play, Panthers show cover 2 pre-snap. Most rookie quarterbacks see this coverage and check down to a safe throw. Not Sanders. He recognizes the middle linebacker cheating toward the strong side, a tell that reveals the defense's true intention. In the span of 3 seconds, he audibles the protection, motions his receiver to create a mismatch, and identifies his target. The snap comes, and Sanders executes a pump fake that sells the corner route so convincingly that the safety bites hard. In that split second, with the coverage broken, he launches a perfect deep ball that splits 2 defenders for 42 yards. The stadium doesn't just cheer, it detonates. 70,000 people who've watched decades of quarterback failures suddenly realize they're witnessing something special. 3 plays, 65 yards, and a statement delivered that echoed through every NFL front office. This wasn't beginner's luck or a favorable matchup. This was systematic destruction of a game plan, executed by a quarterback who understood the chess match better than players twice his age. Veterans on the sideline exchanged knowing glances. They'd witnessed this precision throughout training camp, but now the world could see what they already knew. The touchdown that followed was pure artistry. Red zone, 3rd and goal, Panthers expecting a fade route to the bigger target. Sanders sells the fake perfectly, looking right, pump faking with conviction. The defensive backs commit completely, leaving the middle of the field vulnerable. Sanders spins left, finding his tight end sneaking across the formation, and delivers a bullet pass through an impossibly narrow window. Touchdown Cleveland. The stadium shaking. Teammates mobbing their quarterback. But watch Sanders' reaction. No excessive celebration, no showboating. Just a quiet confidence that says, this is just the beginning. That composure, that maturity, that understanding of the moment, these are the intangibles that separate good quarterbacks from franchise cornerstones. Sources within the locker room describe the halftime atmosphere as approaching a religious experience. This wasn't typical halftime energy, this was something deeper, more profound. Players weren't just discussing winning, they were openly talking about witnessing greatness unfold before their eyes. Sanders reportedly addressed the team unprompted, his message simple yet powerful: we're just beginning. Stay hungry. Finish everything. 22 years old, speaking like a 10-year professional. Veterans who've played with Pro Bowl quarterbacks exchanged glances, recognizing something they'd rarely encountered: natural leadership that can't be taught or manufactured. The defensive captain allegedly whispered to his position coach, "That's our franchise quarterback." No question anymore. This from a player who's shared locker rooms with established stars, who's seen rookies crumble under pressure, who understands the difference between potential and proven performance. His endorsement carried weight that resonated throughout the room. But it wasn't just Sanders' words that transformed the atmosphere, it was his presence. Equipment managers reported that despite the dominant first-half performance, Sanders was the first player to review film, the first to discuss adjustments, the first to prepare for Carolina's inevitable second-half adjustments. While other players celebrated, Sanders was already 3 steps ahead, anticipating challenges and preparing solutions. The offensive coordinator described Sanders' halftime preparation as exceeding veteran standards. He identified defensive tendencies Carolina would likely employ, recognized rotation patterns they'd attempt to disguise, and suggested adjustments that proved prophetic. This wasn't a rookie hoping to survive, this was a quarterback orchestrating victory with surgical precision. Veterans began sharing stories of Sanders' preparation throughout the week. How he stayed late studying film, how he approached practice with intensity that elevated everyone around him, how he asked questions that revealed understanding beyond his experience level. The picture emerged of a player who didn't just possess physical tools but understood the mental and emotional demands of leading an NFL franchise. The transformation was visible in body language, in communication, in the way players responded to Sanders' presence in the huddle. Offensive linemen described feeling more confident in their assignments, receivers talked about trusting their routes completely, running backs mentioned how Sanders' pre-snap reads made their jobs easier. This is what happens when a quarterback elevates everyone around him. The entire offense becomes more than the sum of its parts. By the time they returned to the field for the second half, something fundamental had shifted. This wasn't just a team playing well. This was a team that believed they'd found their missing piece, their leader, their path to championship contention. Here's where the narrative intensifies and where Sanders truly announced himself as Cleveland's franchise quarterback. Third quarter, Browns leading 17-7, Panthers attempting their comeback. Momentum shifting. Crowd growing nervous. This is the classic Cleveland scenario that has haunted this franchise for decades. The moment when previous quarterbacks crumbled, when previous teams collapsed, when previous seasons unraveled. Not tonight. Not with Sanders. What followed was a 12-play, 7-minute masterpiece that showcased every quality you want in a franchise quarterback. This wasn't about spectacular throws or highlight reel plays. This was about maturity, patience, and understanding that winning football requires more than individual brilliance. It requires leadership, composure, and football intelligence. The drive began with a 3rd and 6 conversion where Sanders recognized a blitz package pre-snap, adjusted his protection, and delivered a strike to his slot receiver for 12 yards. Nothing flashy, but perfect execution under pressure. The next play, facing a loaded box, Sanders checked to a quick slant that gained 8 yards and kept the chains moving. But it was the 3rd down conversion midway through the drive that truly demonstrated Sanders' evolution. Facing 3rd and 8, Panthers bringing pressure from multiple angles, Sanders stepped up in the pocket, kept his eyes downfield despite defenders closing in, and found his tight end sitting in the soft spot of his own coverage. The throw required perfect timing, precise placement, and unwavering confidence, all qualities Sanders displayed effortlessly. The drive continued with Sanders mixing run and pass perfectly, managing the clock brilliantly, and making decisions that reflected understanding far beyond his experience level. When the Panthers adjusted their coverage, Sanders countered immediately. When they brought extra pressure, he had answers ready. When they tried to disrupt his timing, he remained poised and patient. The drive culminated with a field goal, but the significance transcended the 3 points. This demonstrated that Sanders possessed the mental toughness to handle adversity, the football IQ to make complex adjustments, and the leadership presence to keep his team focused when momentum threatened to shift. Panthers defensive coordinator Brian Flores, a mastermind of complex schemes who's confused veteran quarterbacks for years, appeared bewildered throughout the drive. His post-game comments were revealing. Credit Cleveland. Their quarterback played exceptional football. He made correct reads, delivered accurate throws, and managed the game brilliantly. We had no answers. When opposing coordinators acknowledge dominance, legitimacy is confirmed. This wasn't a rookie getting lucky. This was a quarterback systematically dismantling one of the league's most sophisticated defenses. By the 4th quarter, something magical was happening in Cleveland. The QB1 chants that began midway through the 3rd quarter were growing louder with each possession. By the final quarter, the entire stadium was synchronized, 70,000 voices declaring what everyone recognized. The search was over, the controversy settled, the future determined. Sanders orchestrated the 4th quarter like a conductor leading a symphony. Every play call seemed perfectly timed, every adjustment appeared effortless, every decision reflected the confidence of a quarterback who understood he belonged on this stage. The Browns extended their lead to 30-7 with a field goal that served as an exclamation point on a dominant performance. But it wasn't just the statistical dominance that impressed, it was Sanders' demeanor throughout. While teammates celebrated around him, Sanders remained focused, already thinking about the next opponent, the next challenge, the next opportunity to prove that tonight wasn't an aberration but a foundation. The tunnel scene post-game was reportedly emotional, with players embracing coaches and front office personnel celebrating validation after months of uncertainty. At the center of everything was Sanders, calm amid the chaos, gracious in victory, but clearly understanding that this was just the beginning of something special. His press conference performance was equally impressive, poised, articulate, humble yet confident. He credited teammates constantly, acknowledged coaches repeatedly, and respected opponents appropriately. When asked about the controversy surrounding his selection, Sanders deflected perfectly, "We're 1-0. Nothing more. Long season ahead. Much improvement needed. Back to work tomorrow." Perfect messaging. Veteran presence. Franchise cornerstone confirmed. Tonight, Cleveland didn't just defeat Carolina 30-10, they announced their arrival as legitimate contenders. Sanders didn't just go 14 for 23 with 1 touchdown, he delivered a performance that validated every decision, silenced every critic, and united an entire franchise behind a common vision. the statistics barely scratch the surface of what we witnessed. 0 interceptions despite aggressive defensive pressure. 0 sacks taken despite frequent blitz packages. Third down efficiency exceeding 60%. Red zone execution that was perfect. These represent championship caliber performance indicators, not just rookie success metrics. But beyond the numbers, something deeper occurred tonight. Cleveland's identity transformed, decades of pessimism replaced with genuine optimism, and a franchise that's been searching for answers for over 2 decades finally found their cornerstone. The factory of sadness is becoming a championship factory, and Sanders is the catalyst driving that transformation. This is just the beginning of what promises to be an incredible journey. The AFC North has been officially warned, the NFL has been notified, and Cleveland Browns fans finally have their franchise quarterback. What did you think of Sanders' performance tonight? Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway from this game. Are you convinced he's the real deal, or do you need to see more? And if you want to stay updated on Sanders' journey and the Browns' championship push, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. Next week, I'll be breaking down how Sanders' success is already changing the entire AFC North dynamic. You won't want to miss that analysis. The legend of Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland has officially begun. Click the video on screen now to see my breakdown of how this performance compares to other legendary rookie debuts, and I'll see you in the next one.